All right, so I am Marcos. We are going to talk today, Rihanna, about how to create your timesheets. Typically, Flow, um, it's a bi-weekly system, which means is that you work 2 weeks and then you get paid. So the way to actually document those hours, we every 2 weeks we submit our timesheets. To be able to do that, the first thing that you typically should do is to actually have the timesheet template with you. So if you go to this folder that says Flow Resources, each computer should have it. So if you don't have it, please let Darwin or Marcus know, and that way you can create it there. But if you double click on that folder, you have two folders in here. All our templates are located in the Microsoft templates folder. So if you double click on that, then you will have a big list of all of the templates that we use. And not just for the timesheets, but for other items. So in case that you need to send an invoice or from scratch, or if you need a letter, a flow design letter, a flow non-disclosure agreement, observations reports, etc. You can find it in this folder. But in a matter of time, we are going to focus on the timesheets template. Do you have any questions so far, Rihanna?
No.
Okay. So if you go into FD timesheets templates, typically what we do is never modify this file. What I will recommend you guys to do is either create a folder in your documents. You can say timesheets. Timesheets. This is just one way to do it. Again, because I like organization, I typically like to do the year. What year it's the timesheet as a record for you. And again, this is not something that you're gonna that everybody has to do it this way, but I do think it makes more sense. So then if, in case like you have many years working a flow, you can go back to, 2019 and then have a record of it, So 2021, I would either do the month, but in this case, just for time purposes, I'm just gonna copy that file into that folder. And the first things that I typically like to do is that if the timesheets, you can say, you can put underscore timesheet, your initials. So in this case will be RB underscore the time that the timesheet was submitted. That will be the last day. So in this case will be 09 15 2021. That way I can go back into what week you submitted that timesheet. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So, or period, by the way, I can hear myself double in the sound too. If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to mute, then and then if you need, if I respond, I ask you a question, you can unmute and then mute and stuff. It's because we're next to each other. That's why that's that case. All right. So basically, our payroll ends on Wednesday. So Wednesday. So all of the timesheets, that the time that you're gonna work ends on that day, because or the way that it works is that the payroll on the system it starts on Thursdays. So we're documenting all the time until Wednesday. That's how it works. That might change in the future, but for now, that's how it's been working. So just great. Can you see the file? I'm
I can
sharing
see
it.
on your
Oh,
screen. Mine's just taking a while to load.
okay, but you can definitely see it. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you open the file, this is what you see. It's gonna have an employee name. It's gonna have the ending date, which will be today. That will be the ending date. And then it's gonna have a list of items here to the left, projects with organization here, marketing, accounting, pay time off, holidays, personal, cat training, etc. Now, the reason why we subdivide it like this is because when you are working on projects, you're going to be working weeks. You can work in a day on 2 projects, or you can work in an entire week only 1 project. So here you will document the project name, number, and name. So for example, in your case, you have been working. Your case, I think that your project was the detached garage, correct? Yeah, 108 Maple. So you can literally just copy that name for that project and subdivide or change those over here. Okay, you can always change this. That's not a problem because, and then you can leave the other one empty. This one can be 100 just to leave it blank for now. All right. So the first thing that I will do, so I put that one, but typically the first thing I would do is I would put my name in here. So let's say, for example, Marcos Severino.
I do have a question, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So it's saying I can't edit it because I'm like not signed in. Would that just be my email, like with the company?
Oh, you couldn't edit the file?
No, it says I need to sign in to set up Office.
Okay, all right. That's not, we will deal with that later. I will show you how to do it on the video, and then Darwin is gonna help you set it up
Okay.
if that works for you. That way you can go back, and then we're not like waiting until that sign in and all of that, type
Yeah.
of stuff. All right, which is fine. I'm trying to show you the entire how it works, and then you can go back to this video later on, how to do it. So I will put my name in here, the end date, which you see how it relates to U8. What that means is if I go to U8, you can just double click on that. Actually, let me see what is the best way to do it. Okay, I will change then the first date. So in this case, if I go back 2 weeks ago, that will be the first Thursday, September 2nd. So you can just change the first one, month 9/02, and we are in 2021. And what that will do is that will change all of the dates accordingly. You see how it changed, and now, so today's day is the 15th. Now make sure it ends on a Wednesday. Sometimes like some people are like, oh, put the wrong day, and then like it's a different date. So you see how Wednesday is the last day? I just make sure that that's the case all the time. Here you will see, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday we don't work. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And that's about it. Any questions on that so far?
No
Okay.
questions so far.
Okay, great. So then here, you will put your name. So just for sake of argument. And then you will put your supervisor. In this case, typically will be me. But in this case, let's just put Darwin. Depending on who you're working with, either Darwin or me, you can just put either or. Or in the future, somebody else. If somebody sees this in 10 years from now, then you will put whoever your supervisor will be. Okay, so I think that's basically how you will set up the beginning. Next, typically you will put your rate here. You can just put, I don't know, let's say $15 an hour. If you wanted to keep a track on it. And then now, after you update all of the file, now it's time to document the time. So the way that you document times is, there are different ways. So there's what is called billable hours. Billable hours meaning hours that you work on projects. You will put it, all of the hours that you work on a project, you will put it in here. Now, we are in architectural office, so there is time that you don't work on billable projects. Let's say you're working on a marketing event, so you will document it here and say, I did some online publications or something like that. Publications. Um, and then you say, on Thursday, I worked 2 hours on that. So the moment that you put it in there, now it's creating a catalog already. This sheet is already smart. So the moment that you put a time, it will document it. So that is what is called non-billable time. So for example, right now we're preparing, some celebration for a birthday party. That time, you shouldn't put it in a project. It should be in a different category. You could either say, you can put that time either in business development, or you can say operations, or you can create one that says, uh, you know, time for the office development, or whatever you want to call it, on that. But at least we have a record what happened on that day, on that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so basically I need to keep track of all the hours or whatever I do here while I'm working.
Correct. And as you know, it's just so we know the ratio of what is billable time versus what is not. It's very important because even though we at the office do a lump sum when we do proposals, so we need to be a little bit more strategic about how much time we spend on projects. So and that's something to always take in consideration. Always look back to the proposal and be like, how much money was charged to the client for this project? If I'm supposed to take a week, if I'm beyond that point, then we are losing money on that aspect. So it's very important to follow up on timesheets and time management. Very, very important. You will be surprised when you start using minutes here and using minutes there. Now you're losing an hour, and or somebody call me, or things like that. So time adds up and never comes back. So that's basically my line on that. So that's that, non-billable time and billable time. Now, when it's available time, you worked on 108 Maple Street in Lynn, which is a detached garage. You should specify what you did on that project. So that's what this work description is. That way, when you come back, you are like, okay, yeah, I was doing schematic drawings, or I was doing the construction drawings, or the permit drawings, or whatever it is that you were doing at that time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in your case, you were working on permit drawings, and then you will put the project number once again, 317. Now, last week, I think that you worked, you started on Monday, right? This week or last week? Has it been? How long has it been? All right.
I started on what was it? The 7th, I think.
The
It was
7th?
like the day after like Labor Day.
Okay, yeah, the 7th. So nice 07. So let's say you worked, let's say you work 8 hours on Wednesday on that project, 8 hours on Thursday, and you didn't work on Friday. So on that first week, you did 10 hours. And on the second one, you did 8 hours. That's just an example. In here, it will document the amount of hours and your pay, like the total. Even though you pay taxes, so you will see less than that, but you know what I mean. So that's about it. So if you work on another project, I would just recommend to duplicate that and then rename the project number. If you do need to create another sheet, You just do insert, and then you can keep moving forward, because there are going to be weeks that you're going to be working on 10 different projects. So this line can become much larger. Terms of holidays, if there is a pay holiday, we will in our we typically send emails which holidays we are covering. So if there is a holiday on Monday, for example, Monday the 6th, I will put that time accordingly. So Monday the 6th, that was an 8-hour ratio. If you're training, you see how we have cat training, you can just put training and then put the time. It's not a problem. And that's about it with times. After you are done with your timesheets, we request everyone to create a PDF. And that PDF, you can put it in the same folder that you created for your timesheets. RB with the same date. Save. And what you will do is you will go to your email and basically say, Alt tab, you know, you will send us an email and attach the timesheet and sometimes we like also the Excel sheet as well. So you can attach both in case we need to look back and open the file and see, you know, what's going on with that. Oh, something else I forgot to mention. Sometimes we go to sites. You know, there should be in our template one that says, which I will need to add in here. There should be one that says driving or mileage. So every time you drive to a project site, you should document how many miles you take from the office to the job site. So for example, if you need to go to Worcester, you will go back and be like, okay, from the office to Worcester, how many miles it is. So if you go back and say, all right, flow design, design architects, and then we go to directions to Worcester, whatever address it is, okay? In this case, I'm just gonna pick Worcester. Now, if you go here, it tells you that that route is 64 miles. So you will basically calculate if I need to go to a project in Worcester and I have to go from the office to the site, but then I have to go home. We typically like to charge a client from the office and back to the office, always. That way it's consistent. The client know, oh, this time I'm gonna be paid this much on mileage. I know in the next meeting it's gonna be the same amount. It's no variables. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Now, if you have to go into different projects on the same area, typically you will decide which one, you know, that's a more a management part of the timesheet. Like, oh, I'm going to, let's say I'm going to Boston, but both projects are within 5 minutes. I'm not gonna charge both clients the time that it's gonna take me to get there because I was gonna be there. So you just pick either the first project that that did the meeting, you know, or you do, you know, you pick your battles on that. And then you decide, okay, I might charge this client because the budget is a little bit bigger or it's a bigger project or that kind of thing. Okay, do you have any questions?
Not that I can think of, honestly.
Okay. Okay, so I believe this is it for the presentation. Any questions you can either forward it to me or Darwin. And yeah, so I hope to see your timesheet soon. All right. Bye.
I